The iPhone XR came out in late 2018 alongside the iPhone XS and served as a budget-ish option. It started at $749 in 2018, but with the iPhone 11 now being out, it was lowered to $599, making it a pretty competitively priced option for those looking to upgrade to a new smartphone. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I'm wearing contacts for some reason today, but also the iPhone XR is a phone. The iPhone XR has been out for over a year now, so I think it's worth asking the question. Is it still worth buying? The iPhone XR is in an interesting position. On one hand, with the specs and general hardware you get with the iPhone XR, I'd have to say, yeah, it is worth $599. It's an iPhone, and so you are paying a bit for the brand, but overall, the iPhone XR is still really nice, and for the average user, it's going to be more than enough. But on the other hand, the iPhone 11 is only $100 more at $699, and so while I think the XR is worth it, I also think that the 11 is better value. Obviously, with the 11 you get better specs, which is always nice, but most importantly you get the better cameras, including an ultra-wide camera, which is a pretty big upgrade over the XR. If the ultra-wide camera doesn't sound that appealing to you, or you really need to save some cash, the XR is still worth buying. Or, of course, you could find it online for cheaper in the used market. I got this one for 500 Canadian off of Craigslist, which equates to about 380 bucks US. That's a pretty good find, and I think it would be reasonable for, you to find a similar price if you look around enough. But is the iPhone XR worth buying? Yes. Is the iPhone 11 more worth buying? Yes. But let's back up here and talk more about the iPhone XR, starting with the design. The XR features glass on the front and back, and comes in many color options, so there's something here for everyone. Personally, I really love this coral, it's just so unique. Do yourself a favor and don't be one of those people who get a black or white iPhone XR. Those are the worst kind of people. I joke, obviously everyone's preferences are different. I purposely made sure not to get a white or black iPhone XR because I wanted something a little more fun. But of course, that's up to you. At least you have choices, which is nice. Because of the glass back, we do have wireless charging, which is great. It's also water resistant and is fast charging capable, although the fast charger doesn't come with the phone, so you'll have to buy it separately if you want one. The front of the phone is the near bezel-less plus a notch look we've come to expect from iPhones since the 10. The bezels are decently thicker than on an iPhone 10, XS, or 11 Pro, as you can see here beside my 11 Pro Max. For me, it's annoying because I'm used to my 11 Pro, but if you haven't used a 10, XS, or 11 Pro, you wouldn't even notice, and well, chances are if you're looking to buy an iPhone XR, you probably haven't used any of those phones. The display is 6.1 inches and is LCD with a resolution of 828 by 1792 and features a pixel density of 326 pixels per inch. Incoming is a million comments about how the iPhone XR is sub 1080p and therefore the phone is terrible. Look, you might have heard something about the XR's display being bad, but that's really not the case. Yes, the resolution isn't great, admittedly, but that's why the phone is cheaper. This isn't a top-end flagship, and for the average general user, it's gonna look great. Colors look good, the screen gets bright. For most people, that's all that matters. Can I notice a difference going from my 11 Pro Max to the XR? Yeah, I can, but within a few minutes, I get used to the XR, and plus the 11 Pro Max is like double the price. Unless you'd consider yourself a tech enthusiast or someone who's maybe used an OLED panel in the past and know what an OLED panel is, the iPhone XR screen is fine, and most people will not have a problem with it. And the benefit to that lower power display is amazing battery life. The iPhone XR will last you all day and have juice to spare. It's really good, and so if battery life is important to you, this is a good pickup. It's significantly better than the iPhone 10 and XS, and a bit better than the 8 Plus if you're looking for some perspective. I actually did a comparison between the iPhone XR and the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus if you want to see that, by the way, link in the description below. The iPhone 11 will do better than the XR in battery life by like 1 hour according to Apple, so it's safe to say the XR is still really good right now, and so if battery is a concern, it shouldn't be if you're buying the iPhone XR. This phone also features a Face ID, which might be new to some people watching this. Essentially, it 3D maps your face and recognizes you whenever you look at it. So you see that red blinking dot, basically it's trying to find my face, I look at it, I swipe swipe up and I'm in. It's super easy. Face ID is great. Personally, I've used a lot of biometric systems on a lot of different phones, trying them out. Face ID is my favorite without a doubt. It's fast, it's reliable, and it doesn't work when your eyes are closed. The most important thing to a lot of people when it comes to a phone is the camera. And while yes, the XR isn't as good as the $100 more iPhone 11, it still is pretty legit and can take some nice photos. It has a 12 megapixel rear sensor and can shoot video in up to 4K at 60 frames per second. You can see some photos here. They're pretty darn nice, and it's easy to say that you won't have a problem with the camera. It's just as good on the iPhone XS, and again, while it's not as good as the iPhone 11, it still will take a great photo. The biggest thing is you do only have that one camera lens and won't be able to take ultra-wide photos, and you can see the difference between the normal lens and the ultra-wide lens here. This ultra-wide pic was taken by the 11 Pro, but it's the same camera as in the iPhone 11. And yeah, that ultra-wide camera is the coolest feature of the new iPhone 11. Again, personally, for me, $100 would be worth it to get it, but if it's out of your price range or you're not worried about the camera, maybe the ultra-wide doesn't appeal to you, the iPhone XR can still take great shots. It can also take portrait photos, although only of people. It's not perfect, but it generally does a pretty good job and is a really nice feature to have. The video, of course, is great, as it always is with iPhone, and right now you're seeing some 4K 30 footage. It's crispy and stabilized really well, which is a pretty good combo. iPhone's been ahead of the game for years when it comes to video, so this is pretty much better than any Android you'd be buying right now. The selfie camera isn't amazing, and the iPhone 11 does significantly improve it, but the XR still can take a half-decent selfie with 7 megapixels. You can also take a portrait selfie, which is honestly usually pretty hit or miss, but at least you do have the option to try it. So overall, the XR's camera is of course still really good. It's only a bit over a year old, what would you expect? But if the camera is the most important thing in a smartphone to you and you can afford it, I'm gonna say it's worth it to upgrade to the iPhone 11 every single time. It's just better value for what you get. Spec-wise though, this phone is still really darn good with Apple's A12 chipset and 3 GB of RAM. It runs iOS 13 with ease, and everything will feel quick and smooth. Apple is king when it comes to optimization, which means that even though this phone only has 3 GB of RAM, it's still really darn fast and will be able to take software updates for much longer than your average Android phone. The iPhone XR, in terms of longevity, is a great pickup because it'll get updates for probably at least another 4 years. And if you're worried about speeds or anything, I wouldn't be. It's great. It'll handle anything you throw at it. The iPhone XR is still super solid, as you would expect only a bit over a year later. It starts at $599 on Apple's website, and is it worth that? Yeah, it is. And if you buy this phone right now, I think you're gonna really enjoy it. But again, the iPhone 11 is better value, if that ultra-wide camera sounds appealing, which for a lot of people, I know it will. Generally speaking, I recommend the iPhone 11 over the iPhone XR. I know this can depend on the country. In some places, you know, the price differences are a lot greater, and if that's the case and the iPhone 11 is unreasonably priced, don't worry about it. The iPhone XR is still a great phone, and I have a very little doubt in my mind that you'll like it and probably won't regret buying it. And of course, you could always turn to the used market, which is always a good idea. You know, you save some money. Again, I got this for $380 US, which was a pretty good deal, and if you look around hard enough, you might even be able to find a better deal. eBay, Craigslist, these are a couple places to look. Facebook Marketplace, whatever your local listing site is. When the iPhone XR came out, I said that right there is going to be the best-selling iPhone over the XS, and I was right. It was. And there's a reason. Not everyone needs the crazy top-of-the-line specs of the best iPhone. This phone had the same camera as the XS, and that's what was really important. You save some money for essentially the same phone with a worse display. What's not to like? And better battery than the XS was too, by like a lot. There's a lot to like here. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm gonna end things, I think, because there's not a whole lot more to say. Phone's just over a year old. Of course, it's still great. Do you have an iPhone XR? Are you thinking about getting one, or are you leaning towards the iPhone 11? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video interesting or helpful, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. You could always follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at 91_tech if you'd like to for whatever reason. And with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91tech, and I will see you all next time.